Okay, thanks. Hi, guys. So my name is Tanya Pearce, and I live in Woodstock, Georgia. And I've been patched for about 5 months now. And I was introduced to the patch by my sponsor, Jennifer Stamper. And I guess I was introduced about a month prior to me actually deciding to get on the patch. But we met at an event one night, and I kind of overheard her talking to someone else about stem cell patches. And I was fascinated because I've always heard about stem cells and how wonderful they are, but I've always known they've been incredibly expensive, nothing I could ever afford. So, in overhearing her, I was like, I've got to hear more about this. So I approached her, and I was just completely blown away with all the information she gave me. And the first person I thought of was, obviously, besides myself, I was actually looking for something to help my stepmom, who had been suffering for over a year now. She's been bedridden. And she's had everything from lung issues to some severe back problems and some major pain with associated with that. But all of that led her to being in the hospital, in and out over the course of that year. And then when she'd get home, she'd have to be bedridden. So a year in the bed. And it just seemed like a never ending process of her continuing to get ill. And so finally, when I found this stem cell patch through Jennifer, I was like, I've got to get this on my stepmom, just give it a shot. And so I took that, patched her, and we've seen a lot of progress with her. The first few days, she did start to see a little bit of the energy aspect come through. And then she started to notice the mood enhancement because she had been depressed for so long, obviously being in and out of the hospitals for a year. Had really, made her scared and go into a downward spiral in depression. So she did start to feel like the, happy juices, if you will, turn on for her. And so that was a great starting point. And just every day we're noticing more and more. I will say that she is now able to get out of the bed. And she is able to walk into restaurants where she could not go anywhere. She couldn't even leave the house. She was very immobile. And she's doing her hair and makeup again. She's actually able to walk outside, let the dogs out. So all these changes have just been incredible to see. And, she cries to me thanking me for getting her on this patch. And her lungs are starting to improve, but it's day by day. But she is really starting to feel better, and that's just the first step. So very thankful to have her on it. But as far as myself and my own testimony that I want to share is, right away, I probably started seeing the energy aspect. And that was super important to me because I have been suffering for so many years in the energy area because at my age, I'm now 49 years old, and I have just been going through a lot of shifts, whether it's hormonal or whatnot. But I got a lot of brain fog that I was dealing with. And then I also couple that with have an attention disorder. So between the two of those, it was just very hard to function. I couldn't finish projects. I'd be bouncing all over the place. My emotions were constantly up and down. So I just felt unbalanced, unwell. And I noticed again within a few days that the energy kicked in, and then within a week or so, I noticed that my moods were stabilizing. And that was a huge help. I mean, I was absolutely drinking like a pot of coffee every single morning to myself. And that that's a lot of coffee for one person. I was drinking energy drinks to help as well. And then I was dealing with stress levels. And I think just from the so much imbalancing, my stress had gotten so bad that I had developed over the last 2 years, I had developed panic attacks. Never had them in my entire life. And they were coming on very regularly. Since I've been patched, I have not had a single panic attack. Thank you, Jesus. Um, and my sleep also, I've noticed, is restored. I would wake up every single night, several times a night. And then I'd also have trouble going to sleep. And my mind would just be racing. But if I did fall asleep in the beginning, like I said, I'd wake up several times. And then now, since being on the patch, I have a really good solid sleep where I don't wake up. Occasionally, I'll wake up maybe once, but I can go to bed very easily. I get a good night's sleep, and I feel great in the morning when I wake up. But one of the biggest changes that I have experienced is my skin. Like I said, I've been on it for about 5 months now. And 3 weeks ago, I went to my med spa lady, and she does everything from facials to skincare. She does Botox and other things there. But she had asked me, she said, I got to ask you, um, are you going somewhere else and that may be cheaper or something? And I said, well, no, why do you ask? And she said, well, I haven't seen you in a really, really long time. And you look like you've had some work done. and was laughing hysterically. And I was like, oh my goodness, no, actually, I have not had any work done. And she found it hard to believe. She's like, wow, I mean, you look incredible and your skin looks amazing and so much more youthful. And what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm actually on a stem cell patch. And she was very intrigued and asked me about it. So I showed it was on the back of my neck that day. And she was like, can you meet me later? Because I want to know more about it. And I was like, absolutely. So fast forward, she is now signed up. She's a brand partner. So she's really excited to get on the patch as well. But yeah, so that was the biggest thing for me that I've noticed. Obviously, that does take time, but within, I'd say, a month and a half to 2 months is when I started to see some change with my skin. Um, but the other two quick testimonies that I do want to share is, first of all, my son-in-law, who had a painful or does have a painful foot condition. He started taking the X39, and he has been seeing not only the energy aspects, which is great, a little bit of mood enhancing, which is also great. But when he went back to the doctor to get another scan on his foot, the doctor actually told him that the cysts that he has that's causing the problem in his foot are starting to like disintegrate, where they were very hard before, and now they're starting to break up and disintegrate, and they've never seen anything like it before. So that was really some great news for him. So we're continuing to keep him on the batch, and we hope that it'll eventually go away. But for now, it's just great news that has started to happen. And then the last person I want to talk about, because it really touches my heart. I might get emotional, but it's my grandson, who's 4 years old, and he's on the spectrum. And so sorry. So sorry. He's had issues with communication and his cognitive skills. And we've been trying to work with him in so many different ways to make all the changes that are recommended by, all the doctors out there. And we didn't see a whole lot of progress with him. Got him on the patch, and the very first day, it's kind of unbelievable, but he started to say his teacher's name at school that he's never said in time going to school. He's never said his teacher's name. And he said them. And since then, he's been calling me, his Oma, that's my name for grandma, and he's saying other people's names. So it's very amazing that he started to do that. And he's experiencing so much more calmness to where his fight or flight, excuse me, has gone down tremendously. And so he's just so much more calmer, and things are starting to balance out for him in his brain. And I'm just so happy that I found this patch, and we're seeing all those major improvements. And I'm so sorry that I'm crying, trying to keep it together, but that's what I wanted to share with you guys.
Well, we're crying too, so it's okay.
She's crying.
Oh God, I'm such a baby.
I know. We tell everybody this is going to turn us all into babies because we're going to be crying and we're going to be sucking our thumbs, right? It's age reversal, right?
We
my goodness.
because our oldest son is going to be 24 next month, and he's on the spectrum. He's very high functioning, but he's on the spectrum, and I'm telling you, it's been subtle, but we have seen those changes too. Cognitively, he is making inferences he was never able to infer. It was black or white. There was never any gray with him. And he's saying things in conversation now. And Carl and I will look at each other and I'll go, "Did you catch that?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's things that he would have never put two together before. And we are seeing it." And so I get it. I get it. It's huge. It's huge.
It's amazing.
Thank you for sharing.
Tanya, thank you so much.